What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Inside the One podcast with your boy Jay Hoff and Spitz. Yeah, guys, so today we're going to be going into the NFC North division today. Obviously, last time we had a recording, which was 2 weeks ago, guys, I apologize, stuff happens, we missed last week, so we'll try to make this one extra special for you guys. But yeah, we went over the AFC North last time, went over all of that good stuff, and today it's going to be all about the NFC North, so Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears, fun stuff. But yeah, so I guess before we jump into the division part, yeah, Spitz, you want to say anything real quick to the boys?
What's up, boys? Sorry for missing last week. We tried our absolute hardest. We were even going to try recording on the weekend and just upload it late, but we still couldn't even get that right. So, shit happens. But yeah, man, before we jump into the teams, you guys probably saw on Twitter by now, but the NCAA is paying their players now or they're not paying them, but they're allowed to be paid for endorsements and likeness and all that good stuff. Name. So, for example, you buy oh God, I don't even know who's playing in college anymore. Holy shit. If you buy Tua's little brother's jersey from the store, you're going to get something for that. So that's what's up. Should be good for the players, because some guys have had their careers tarnished a little bit for accepting money, such as Reggie Bush lost his Heisman Trophy. USC lost their national championship from that same season because of Reggie Bush accepting money for play. So that's not going to happen anymore. The players deserve to get paid for their name being... If you guys understood how much money these kids brought to these universities, you wouldn't have an argument for them being paid. Like, people like to say, like, oh, they get a free ride scholarship, and it's like $20,000 a year they're getting paid to make Alabama $70 million a year. Like, come on, bro. So it makes sense. Like it should be huge for video games with the NCAA football coming back and 2K. EA is kind of cheap. They might not actually pay for player likeness, but 2K would. So you never know. But yeah, just want to throw that out there real quick before we started, because that's humongous news. People have been waiting like 2 or 3 years for this.
Nice. And yeah, guys, before we get too deep into it, guys, make sure you smash that like button. You know, again, this is a brand new channel. We haven't been doing that many episodes on this one, so just smash it. Please, pretty please, and hit the sub button. I don't know the exact percentage, but I know there's like a good portion of you guys that watch.
70%, bro.
Yeah, 70%. I wanted to shout that out real quick before we started. 70% of you guys that watch weekly and haven't subscribed. So guys, hit that button for us, and the support, we always appreciate it. And comment below. You know, obviously we like to, interact with you guys a lot, so definitely show us some love on that. And yeah, so without further ado, let's jump into a little bit of news. The main thing that I heard today was Ryan RAMCZYK. He is now the highest paid tackle in football. I don't know what the actual contract was, but I know the Saints are happy about that.
It was 5 years, $96 million, $60 million guaranteed. Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
And whenever your team is in a really weird cap situation, you always get a little bit nervous about re-signing the young players to big contracts. But thankfully, we were able to get that done. Hopefully, we can get Marshawn done sometime before he becomes a free agent. And then we should be pretty much set. We already got Michael Thomas in them. So it's really just Marshawn, and then whatever happens with Jameis this offseason, if he plays really well or not. But
I just think it's funny how, I think it was David Bakhtiari who was the highest paid. Then it was Trent Williams this year, I believe, this offseason.
Trent's on the left, so he's still the highest paid left tackle.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if we're talking tackles,
right tackles,
even left or right, is Ryan still the highest paid?
No, Trent Williams is.
Trent, okay.
Ryan's just the highest paid right tackle. Left tackles get paid a little bit more because they're the blind side for most quarterbacks.
Gotcha. Yeah, because of right-handed quarterbacks. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah, guys. So I just want to throw that out there because right now it's like we're in about to be July, so it's really dead right now. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. So I guess we'll start off with the NFC Championship team, the Packers.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So obviously I want to start off with this because it's probably the most controversial team right now. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been on this podcast multiple times, and he's going to make another appearance today. So obviously the main question on everybody's minds is he staying? He's already made minicamp issues, like the receivers don't want to come to minicamp. He might sit out this entire season. So I guess the main question is, like, does he go to Denver? Is he going to go to a different team? Is he staying? What's he doing?
Well, it just seems more like staying seems like less likely. I don't know. It's weird, man, because the front, like, you're not hearing about it anymore. It's kind of like they've just, both sides have just gone and stopped worrying about it. Like Aaron Rodgers is just doing his thing, playing golf and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then the Packers aren't saying anything. All they're saying is that we're not trading him. But I mean, if he's not going to play, and you're starting to build this hype amongst your fan base about Jordan Love, also, so you're going to start to get to a point where the majority of the fan base is kind of just going to be like, okay, well, that, like, at this point, I don't even want Aaron Rodgers anymore. As crazy as that is to say,
Yeah.
When you're a diehard fan base and your favorite player doesn't want to be there anymore, you kind of just say, oh, well, fuck off then. You know, like, if you don't want to be here, then we're not going to beg you to stay. Thanks for what you did with your whole one championship that you won, and we'll move on to Jordan Love.
Yeah. I guess the question is, let's just assume that Aaron Rodgers leaving and Jordan Love does take over. Like, they've been to the NFC Championship game, I want to say either 3 or 4 years in a row now, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's in a row, but they've been 4 times in like recent, like 6 or 7 years. Yeah.
Okay, so pretty common, like recent. Okay, is it safe to say that they'll be back with Jordan Love? Do you think they take a huge step back?
With Jordan Love, probably no, because you can almost pencil in Tampa Bay as one.
So even with Jordan Love, like the chemistry with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers,
well, that's a problem too, is that Devontae Adams might not want to be there anymore either. Yeah. So that's interesting also. If they don't have Aaron Rodgers, they're definitely not a conference championship team to me. I have to think about it, but there'd be multiple teams. I'd have probably 2 teams from the NFC West alone being better than the Packers. They might not even win their division with Jordan Love the first year. That obviously, like, he stepped, because it'll be his first year. Like, he could be better down the line, but like, they don't have, like, you've seen Aaron Rodgers struggles. Okay, yeah. They really don't have that much talent on the team.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's really good players here and there. Like Devontae Adams is great. Jared Alexander is fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Darnell Savage is pretty good. They've historically had a really good offensive line. Not so much now. Yeah. Aaron Jones is really solid, but like, outside of those 4 or 5 guys, it's kind of like, is Valdez-Scantling really any good? Like, he's fast and he makes great plays, but he also drops balls. It's kind of like,
Aaron Rodgers definitely makes those guys like Alan Lazard and MVS shine, right? And I don't think they're gonna have the same, I guess, production without Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly, I agree. Kind of like when Tom Brady, like, obviously the Patriots are a little bit different, but when Tom Brady left there, they didn't have the most talent at receiver and stuff either. That's why he left, but they still made the playoffs, and they still, kind of almost beat Tennessee. It was close. They had a chance at the end in the playoff game. And then he leaves, and they bring in his replacement, Cam Newton, and they're terrible. So it could be a similar type of situation there where they just don't have enough guys.
Yeah, they might have to change their identity to kind of fit Jordan Love, like maybe lean on Aaron Jones a little bit more.
Yeah,
ever since he got that big payday too. So
it really comes down to the coaching. Like, you see, they probably didn't bring in the right guy for Bill Belichick's offense in New England. But then you look at other examples like Drew Brees getting hurt in New Orleans, and they have no problems at all. Yeah. So depending on how Matt LaFleur can build a scheme around Jordan Love as opposed to forcing Jordan Love to play his scheme, if that makes sense, that would make a huge difference in how they finish.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of that, because you brought LaFleur in, like, if he doesn't, let's just assume Aaron Rodgers leaves, obviously, and if he doesn't have a good season with Love, do you think he's in the hot seat this season? Just because of what happened in the last championship game with the decision of kicking a field goal over trying to go for it.
I don't necessarily know that he might be. Green Bay is kind of volatile, but
like, he might get a 1-year pass because new quarterback. You can't expect the coach to do the same thing with this team. But do you think he will be in the hot seat? if he doesn't go maybe 2022 or 3, whatever the next season is.
I could see that, or if they just for whatever reason really really suck in 2021, which I don't
Yeah.
see that happening either. But yeah, I don't think he'd be on the hot seat too bad this season because he would be if Aaron Rodgers was lumping him in with the reasons why he wants to leave. Like if Matt LaFleur was like, if Aaron Rodgers was like, bro, the coaching here sucks. That's why I want to go play somewhere else. But it's not. It's the ownership and the management.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely gonna get a flyer on this season because of all the chaos. I would hope. Would be kind of unfair. I know the field goal decision in the playoff game was a little bit suspect, but at the same time, you had him in third down and you committed pass interference. So if they don't commit pass interference, you're kind of sitting there like, oh, never mind. Maybe that was a good decision because then now you only need, what do they need, a field goal to win if they got the ball back?
True. Not
So
to
it's
mention, I mean, it wasn't that could have been like if we go back and talk about that game for a quick second. Aaron Rodgers had a running lane as big as a Mack truck to get
Yeah.
into the touchdown zone, and he chose to
threw it.
force a throw.
Yes.
So I mean, it's not always the coach because that could have been a touchdown.
Everybody always goes to the last play. You ever notice that whenever you
Yeah.
watch a playoff game, they don't pay attention to any of the plays
The
that happen.
refs screwed us, and it's like, okay,
Yes.
well, what did you do to get to this point in the
There's a
game to even have it
whole
depend
entire
on this
game.
one play?
You
Yep.
can't blame Matt LaFleur for Kevin King falling asleep on Scotty Miller before halftime. You
Yep.
can't there's so many different things that happen throughout. You can't blame Matt LaFleur for your offensive line getting hoed by Shaq Barrett.
It's shifted. Like the whole first half was the defense not being able to, slow them down, and
Yeah.
oh my God, the weather is supposed to be cold and that's supposed to no.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's been doing this for a long time.
Right, but all we want to talk about is taking a field goal in a position that probably half the coaches in the NFL would have took a field goal right there. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, they wanna,
It wasn't a crazy decision, especially considering, like you just said, what happened previously, where Aaron Rodgers had a touchdown and didn't take it.
Yep.
The coach's got to sit there like, oh God, what if?
What kind of faith do you have after that last play?
Yeah, like is he going to make the right decision this time? Let's just take our 3 points and trust our defense, which was playing really well in the second half.
Exactly.
And they did play very well until they committed it was kind of a soft pass interference, but guys, it was pass interference. Get over it. You can't do what they didn't call it the whole game. Well, they called it now. Like, you still did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It happens, bro. But you can't blame the refs.
Good old Packers. Yeah.
Good old
So
Packers
lots of
fans.
questions there on that team. We'll move on to the Bears. This team is interesting to me because I always question myself, like, how did they even make it to the playoffs last year? How? Like, we have the
NFC
teams
was
like the
top-heavy.
Dolphins and there was another team that was like 10-6 or whatever, and they didn't get in, but the Bears get in.
Yeah, NFC was extremely top heavy. There was like 3 good teams, and that was it.
Yeah, really weird. So I guess the main question on everybody's mind with the Bears is, when does Fields come in? How long does Dalton get to play before they're like, all right, you're done? Or does Fields come in, week 1? Or does Dalton, like, what are they going to do? Is he going to mentor Fields?
They're acting like that Andy Dalton's going to be the week 1 starter. That's kind of everything that you're hearing right now, which isn't a surprise. Like, I'm always, unless you're like the number 1 pick and you're like Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence, and it's like there's no good quarterback on your team and you're so obviously the best play. But like, I've always advocated for not throwing your rookie into the wolves like that week 1. Like, you can do it halfway through the season, but give him a chance to understand the speed of the NFL.
Right.
Kind of watching from the sideline, kind of like Tua and Justin Herbert, right? They
Even
didn't
Lamar.
start right away. Lamar, exactly. Mahomes didn't start right away either. And Kansas City, they knew Mahomes was better than what they had in there, but they just wanted him to learn the game first. So I don't mind if Justin Fields doesn't play at all. I know Bears fans probably want him to get out there because they know that he's better than Andy Dalton. But sometimes it's better for the quarterback in general to just
It's almost
not be thrown
always
right
a
in there.
positive thing to have them hauled off. Like, I've never seen a negative impact on having them wait a couple weeks just to
Exactly.
learn from the quarterback who's been doing it for a while.
Aaron Rodgers is another one too. He had to wait behind Brett Favre.
Yep.
Now, Andy Dalton, you might think, well, he's Andy Dalton. He's not that good. It doesn't matter. He's a veteran quarterback that's been to the playoffs multiple times. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to slow it down. Kind of like Fitz. Fitz has never been a great quarterback either, but he knew how to teach Tua how to play, especially a quarterback like Fields, where his number one knock and the reason why he didn't go in the top 3 is because people think that he might be a little bit too slow making his reads, his progressions. When you have a guy that might be too slow making his progressions, you might want to have him sit on the bench and kind of study, how they give you the tablets and you can watch the plays from up above on your tablet and see what's going on. Like having that for 4, 5, 6 weeks. And if the Bears are, 3-4 or something like that, and they think, okay, we're not quite good enough with Andy Dalton, but maybe we can make a push with Justin Fields, then you put him in. But I don't think he's going to start right away. I wouldn't agree with that decision at all. I actually think that he might really struggle if he starts right away, especially with I'm sorry, Matt Nagy thinks that he's some kind of offensive guru, but he's just not. I mean, that offense has been just like the first year he was there, it was like, wow, look at the Bears. After that, it was like, dude, literally we literally watched you call a play versus the Saints where your receiver, he should have caught it, but it didn't fool anybody really. And then Sean Payton literally copied your play and ran it against the Bucs and scored a touchdown easily. Like, it's just, you can always tell the difference between a great coach and an average one just by running the exact same play. And we had Jameis Winston throw that pass, bro. Like, come on. To Traquan Smith. Who? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
But you chose to you have who was play? I feel like Anthony Miller was playing in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Could have been Mooney.
One of them, one of Mooney or Miller was hurt, but I can't remember which one it was. But either way, one of those guys should have been the person you threw it to, but instead they threw it to Javon Wims.
Oh, God,
like,
and dropped.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, he's on the hot seat, bro. 100%, absolutely. Has to be on the hot seat, unexcusable. Because they went like 12-4 his first season. They had the double doink against the Eagles. Otherwise, they would have moved on to play the Saints in the next game. And all of a sudden, they're just kind of ass cheeks, and you basically ruined Mitch Trubisky's career. He's not even terrible. He shouldn't have been drafted as high as he was, but he's not awful.
Yeah.
In fact, he came back in for you last season and led you to the playoffs when Nick Foles was dragging you down to the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So, just questionable, man. Questionable decisions.
And speaking of questionable decisions, now we're getting rid of like key players like Kyle Fuller. Like you're losing key defensive pieces. Like I don't know what this team is doing. Like if anything, if you were in the playoffs last season, isn't the idea to get better? But here you are getting rid of like your best players on the team.
And they did it like they won't admit to this, but kind of in NFL circles, it's understood that they got rid of Kyle Fuller to clear cap space to trade for like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, and then they didn't do either of those two things, and they signed Andy Dalton and drafted Justin Fields, which means you could have kept Kyle Fuller, and it's like, bro, come on. Yeah. And you're about to another thing that we need to talk about is the last 2 seasons really, but especially last season, y'all really pissing off Allen Robinson. And so, can they do anything to repair Allen Robinson? Because they franchise tagged him, and he's mad about that. I know he's getting the bag from it.
Yeah, I know.
But he wanted out. He absolutely wanted out. He would love to be in Kenny Galladay's position, making that $90 million for the Giants, bro. I promise you he would. And he's stuck in Chicago.
The only way that I can see him staying is if he likes Fields.
Yes,
and if Fields can make him want to stay.
That's the only chance.
That's it. Like, fresh face, fresh leader to the team. We're going to be, you're going to be my number 1 guy. Like, maybe there's some chemistry that can be built there. But other than that, he's
it's going to take a lot, though, because it seems like the management and the coaching staff has just...
Yeah, I mean, now we're talking about 2 years in the making. Like, he's already made his mind up that he wants to leave.
He's probably already got a list of teams that are going to have cap space next season, bro. He's got a whole list. Where am I going to sign? He already knows where he's going to sign. Next offseason, he's ready to go.
Now, with that said, let's just wrap it all up real quick. Do they make another playoff appearance? Or was last season a fluke? Like, they shouldn't have had no business being in the playoffs.
No. No way.
No way, right?
No chance. Yeah. I don't see that happening. No.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing else to say. I mean, the Bears are just. Uh, I mean, honestly, I think they had no business being in the playoffs last season to begin with. Like, I was
Yeah, there's a
surprised.
lot of
Like, they snuck in over the Cardinals, and I think there's another team that I was like, "Why? Really?" I
yeah.
don't
The
know.
Cardinals fumbled the bag
Yeah,
towards the end of the year, but like I'm looking at these like now that we're halfway through the NFC North, I'm like, bro, like what is going on here? Like this is just a division full of dysfunction and chaos.
yeah. I mean, honestly, the Packers had no competition, and they probably won't. If they keep Aaron Rodgers, they probably won't
Yeah, probably
next
not.
year.
I'd be surprised.
Like, it's almost like this might easily turn into like an AFC East situation when Tom Brady was in the Patriots. Like,
Yeah,
like Packers have dominated this division for a while now,
yeah. You
and
don't even have to be that good of a team. You just kind of just coast to the playoffs.
I mean the Vikings sometimes give them a run, um, but they haven't really done anything for a couple years now. I think they've averaged maybe like 9-7 records, and they might make it in as a wild card team. But that was, I mean, I haven't seen them do anything since Diggs left, to be honest with you.
They can't do anything unless they play the Saints in the playoffs, bro. That's it.
Well, not now, not with Diggs. Can't do a sideline touchdown or whatever.
Yeah, but
But you know,
they had the Kyle Rudolph touchdown the second time. Oh, he's gone too. We'll talk
yeah.
about that later.
Let's just
Yeah,
talk about the Vikings. I mean, we're
let's
already
do
talking
it.
about it. So, I mean, I think the biggest question on my mind is Kirk Cousins going to be the quarterback for the Vikings much longer? Like, we've already had a couple of mediocre seasons. I think it was interesting when people saw them pick Kellen Mond. Um,
Hmm.
he's not a bad quarterback. He's not. And they paid him a lot. They paid Kirk a lot of money, and I feel like he hasn't really lived up to that money. And I know he feels pressure. But
To
also
me,
he's had Dalvin Cook help him, and he's had some good receivers. You had Adam Thielen. You had Diggs. You had Justin Jefferson now.
listen,
I
bro.
just
When you're how old is it? He's like what 30, 31, something like that.
He's 33 or 4.
Oh God, when you're a 33-year-old quarterback, when he was 31 or whatever,
Yeah.
is celebrating his first ever
Monday
prime
Night
time
Football.
victory.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro. That's embarrassing.
I think Lamar did that year 1, year 2.
That's what I'm saying. Most of Patrick Mahomes won his first one, I'm pretty sure. Like
Yeah.
31 years old, you finally won a Monday Night Football. Good for you, man. Congratulations.
So yeah, I mean that just kind of backs up my point. Like, I think it's time to move on. I mean, I know Vikings fans are like, bro, that's been our quarterback. I get it, but it's time to move on. Like, I thought Joe Flacco was my guy, but Lamar came along and
Yeah.
blew my socks off, and I'm just like, all right, well, it's time to move on. But
They'll
yeah, I
probably
mean,
they'll still run Kirk Cousins for all of this season though.
sure, yeah, I mean,
Because
I
Kellen
think it's
Mond's a
gonna
third
be
round pick. It's going to take a minute.
yeah,
But when is his contract done?
good question.
That's when his contract is done. That'll for sure will be it.
I can look it up real quick. But I mean, I know it's just a question of can they get out of this mediocreness that they have been so used to? Like, I feel like I said, I think they've been 9-7 for like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes they'll win 10. They'll go 10-6. Good job.
yeah, so it's like, okay, can you actually compete with the Packers? Like, what else do you need? I mean, you got Dalvin Cook. He's
Nah.
easily maybe top 3 or 5 running backs in the entire NFL. Your line's not terrible. I know you got rid of one of your guys, Riley Reef, but I mean, that's not going to make or break you, I don't think. Yeah, you got rid of Kyle Rudolph, but Irv Smith is nice. And you've
Yeah.
always had good receivers, always. And defense hasn't been an issue. I mean, now you got Patrick Peterson. I mean, what's it going to take for you guys to be competitive? That's all.
Yeah. I mean, as currently constructed with Kirk Cousins, there's just no chance of winning a super. There's just no way. There's no possible way unless you have like a top 5 defense for Kirk Cousins to be your quarterback of a Super Bowl team. It would have to be like your defense has to be insane. Think about shitty quarterbacks that have made it to the Super Bowl. There's not many. But off the top of my head, I can think of Rex Grossman, number 1 defense. Who was your quarterback? Was it Dilfer?
Trent Dilfer. Number one defense.
Number one defense. Like, other than that, you're seeing the GOAT quarterbacks playing in the Super Bowl every year.
It's either that or you have a really strong running game and all you got to do is hand the ball off like the Titans or something. Not to say that Tannehill's not bad, but I'm not good. I'm just...
Another example is the 49ers when they had Kaepernick. He was good, but like their defense was number one. So,
well, you can make an even bigger statement talking about whoever the quarterback is now. I can't remember his name now. God...
Garoppolo?
Who's the quarterback right now?
That's
Garoppolo,
right. You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
Yes, the run, like you just said, the run game and the defense. Yep. So unless the Vikings find a way to have a top 5 defense, you could just nope, no chance.
It's just sad because like I don't know. I feel like this team could I feel like they're there kind of. They're better than this is probably the second best team in the division.
Yeah, probably.
And then you have Dalvin Cook, who honestly he got injured and people were scared that he wasn't going to come back to his self, but he did, and he's been really good. So can the defense?
If the defense was like, if they just had a better quarterback, they'd be so good.
Okay. Here's my question then: has the defense improved since last year? Because I know you got rid of Anthony Harris. And I know Harrison's getting older. Patrick Peterson's getting older, so it's like now it's kind of like a veteran style defense.
They had a lot of injuries too, though, last year. Like when Kamara ran 6 touchdowns on him, they were missing like half their defense.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
So
and you got Daniel Hunter. You got a bunch of good guys on defense.
Yeah.
But it's just like, is it enough to compete with the Packers? Like, is this really just a one team dominated division?
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, the Vikings offense will win them 8 to 10 games probably. So we're like, this is another team. We're about to have like 75% of the division's coaches are going to be on the hot seat, bro, because Mike Zimmer got to be questionable right now. At a certain point, it's like, okay, how many times are we going to go 9 to 11 wins and only be able to win in the playoffs if it's the Saints?
There's no improvement.
And get absolutely shit on after we beat the Saints. Like, how many times is that going to be acceptable before it's like, okay, change has got to be made? I'm sure the fans are frustrated with that too. Like, yeah, it's fun in games. Like, haha, LOL, I get to laugh at the Saints fans, but like, y'all like went into Philadelphia and got like 50-piece chicken nugget by Nick Foles, and then I can't even remember who they played after they beat us the second time because I was so pissed off. But you got shit on again. So I think it was the 49ers, wasn't it? With Garoppolo?
Sounds about right.
It's just not good enough. At a certain point, you got to look at the coaching staff and the quarterback. Like, quarterback stat, like, yeah, he might have a lot of yards, but what is it doing for you exactly?
So you got me to think about something with the Vikings. So if we're trying to think back of like when the last time the Vikings were extremely successful?
Yes, Brett Favre.
Well, I'm even more recent than that. Who was their quarterback? He was kind of like, he was a backup. He wasn't. I remember him leading the skull chant, and he was like, "Skull."
That's the Saints one. That was Case Keenum.
Case Keenum, thank you. So if someone like that can lead the Vikings into a divisional round.
They had good defense. It was the defense.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
so it's like, what happened? Where'd the defense go? It's only been 2 years.
Right. I don't know. I mean, this team, it seems like you can't. You have a notorious history for not relying on your quarterbacks. Probably since like Brett Favre or Dante. And Brett Randy Moss, stuff like that.
Yeah. When they relied on Brett Favre, that would bite him in because it was Brett Favre, you know what I'm saying? He's going to throw some stupid interceptions.
Yeah. So it's always been relying on your running game, Adrian Peterson, Dalvin Cook. So it seems like we know what you guys are capable of doing on offense. It's time to bolster that defense.
Yeah. I do feel bad for Vikings fans though, because like in 2009, like I'm glad the Saints won the Super Bowl, but the Vikings should have been there, bro. Like that interception at the end of the fourth quarter by Brett Favre is just so inexcusable. You can say whatever you want about the bounty gate and all the bullshit, but at the end of the day, Brett Favre had you in field goal range and tried to get a little bit closer and forced a terrible pass. And lost the game. I mean, I just feel so bad. Like whenever I watch that highlight, I'm like, first of all, Tracy Porter is the GOAT. Second of all, Brett Favre, bro. Like y'all fought through all the hard hits and all that stuff for nothing.
I love Brett Favre, but he was just so reckless.
That
he
was
all
just
like, bucket, throw it up.
I remember watching that game being like, because we gave you guys the ball, it's slowly marching down the field. Now it's like we just fucking lost. Our defense just sold as usual. The whole bend but don't break doesn't work when you only need a field goal. You have to actually play defense. And then
I can only imagine playing.
Brett Favre gifted us the Super Bowl appearance, man. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate you, bro.
Can you imagine playing with Brett Favre? Like on offense, you probably love him, but on defense, you hate him. You're just like,
probably right.
You better not throw a pick, bro. I don't want to be out there. But the receivers are like, yes, bro. Yeah.
Man was trying to get him from a 55-yard field goal to a 49-yard field goal and threw a pick. That's pain. That is pain, bro. But hey, it was good for me.
All right. Well, enough of the pain.
Oh no, there's more pain coming. Here it comes.
This is probably the biggest pain. Let's just get into it because I know the fans already know what's coming, and we're gonna try to keep it light. Like I don't want to sit here and just shit on this team because I mean obviously the only way to go is up, right? I mean I think you did pretty good in the draft.
I feel like they've been saying that.
So Lions, right? It seems like they're in full rebuild mode. You know, you got rid of your coach, Matt Patricia. I think he went back to the Pats. That's where he was good at. That's where he's going back to. You got rid of a lot of guys. You got rid of Matthew Stafford. You got rid of Galladay. You got rid of pretty much all your receivers. And then you had your number one pick last year get hurt, the cornerback, Jeff Okudah. So it's just like, and then it seems like there's this running back revolving door. So, I mean, I know Swift is the guy now, but I mean, it just seems like you've had so many running backs come in and out of there. And they all look like they could do the job, but there's just no commitment. I guess the question is, Jared Goff, is that now your guy? Like, if you're the coach or if you're a fan of the Lions, like, do you believe in Jared Goff? Do you believe in Swift? Do you believe in the draft picks? Like, Penei Sewell was a steal for you guys, by the way.
It was, yeah.
The fact that he fell to you, absolute W. I know you wanted
the best thing that's happened.
Like, okay.
It's the best thing that's happened to the Lions since they drafted Calvin Johnson, bro.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Goff is trash. Goff is terrible. If I'm a Lions fan, I am praying for Goff to be as terrible as possible. I want the highest draft pick possible. I don't know who the quarterbacks are next year, but I want one of them because it's just Jared Goff, really? I feel like Jared Goff only came in because that was the only way that the Rams would give you all those picks. So you just took him. They were like, hey, we want Matt Stafford. We'll give you 75 first-round picks, but you got to take Jared Goff. And they said, all right, whatever.
Just to give you guys an insight, the Detroit fans out there might be watching this right now. Like, this came out of Sean McVay's mouth. Okay, so like he had Jared Goff for a number of years, and then we're not even in the season yet. We're still talking minicamp, and he's already talking like Matthew Stafford's a god, quote unquote. Yes. This dude is a bad motherfucker, bro. That's quote unquote. That's what Sean McVay is saying. So it's just like that. What does that tell you about Jared Goff?
Yeah, Jared Goff.
Like he wasn't good.
He was a stat patter for one season, and everybody got excited about it.
Well, he was a Jimmy Garoppolo of sorts. He just handed off to Todd Gurley, and ever since then.
Yeah, well, the Super Bowl year, the Super Bowl season, he did have quite a few passing yards, but it was
sure. But you had
it was just like
Cooks,
unimpressive.
You had Cooper Kupp. You had there's another receiver. You guys were loaded on offense. Let me just say that.
Like once he got to the playoffs with the Rams, right? It was like I don't think they didn't play in the the first game they played was against the Saints.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Who they play in the divisional? Because we were the championship game. I don't know. They got to the Saints. He looked terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
The defense brought you back into the game, and then don't even get me started on the Super Bowl. What a fucking bum! How you go to the Super Bowl and play like that is beyond me. I know the Patriots had a good defense, but like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Because the very next year, Nick Foles dropped like 50 points on him. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I know there's been good sides to Jared Goff. Like I remember there was either a Thursday night or a Monday night game against the Chiefs, and I think that was the game of the year that year. I think.
Yeah.
between Mahomes and Jared Goff, like they both hung like at least 50 points on each other each. So it was crazy.
But was it Goff or was it Sean McVay, his first season coaching, and nobody knew how to game plan for him?
I don't remember. It could have been his first season. I just remember
because that offense has not been even
game, and Jared Goff looked amazing.
Yeah, because the Rams offense hasn't been remotely even close to that first season when they went to the Super Bowl.
So maybe
it's almost like Sean McVay.
Yeah,
I feel like it threw people off, and they were like, "Yo, who is this guy? And who is these? What are these plays?" And then now teams have kind of gotten a little, kind of like with the Saints, their offense used to be really good. Now it's just kind of like, nah.
You can even see a thing about Lamar and the Ravens with that 14-2 season. Like no one just didn't understand all these running plays, and it's like, all right, well, they got 1 billion people in the box. How do we get to them?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're starting to figure it out. But yeah, I mean that makes a good point. Who's their head coach right now?
They hired that. It's I can't
the
think of his
tight end
first
coach
name.
for the Saints, right?
Yeah, it's Campbell. I can't think of his first name. It's like Mark or Dave or something like that. But yeah.
Okay. So, I guess my question is now is like, okay, you got rid of Matt Patricia, and you hired the tight end coach for the Saints. Was that the move? I mean, why didn't you go after the enemy?
He was over here talking about biting kneecaps and whatnot. And his first like press conference, he was saying something about like chewing on their kneecaps or something. I can't remember the exact quote, but I was like, what the hell? He was like super animated and hyped though, which could be good, but I was like, I hope you know how to. It
almost sounds like a Jameis Winston effect. Like,
yeah,
like people are probably kind of weirded out, but they like the energy.
Yeah, it depends on how the players respond, right? Because like Tampa Bay players thought that EW was weird. Saints players have embraced EW.
No, I saw Drew Brees even do it. That was fun.
Right, exactly. So it's like, do the Lions embrace chewing kneecaps, or do they think it's weird? We'll find out.
It's just the Motor City, guys. I mean, I want to say that this team can only go up from here. But, I mean, it's hard for me to say that when you're getting rid of your whole team. I just don't know what's in mind. Like, I want to know what's behind the mind of this team, the head coach,
I want to know what's going on with
the ownership.
It's the ownership, bro. Because remember, like, there was, like, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I wanted to talk about this, but it was, like, on a really weird timing for the podcast where it didn't make sense to talk about it. But, like, Calvin Johnson, I guess, came out and said, like, I didn't want to retire. They made me retire. Did you read that? He didn't want to play for the Lions. He was like Aaron Rodgers, basically. He didn't want to play for the Lions anymore because they refused. They couldn't build a good team. Him and Stafford were just stuck there. And he asked them to either release him or send him somewhere else, and they said no, so he retired.
Damn.
So literally the Lions like made us miss out on like 5 more years of Calvin Johnson. So thanks a lot, Detroit. Appreciate it. Like, why not just let him, like, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, he's done so much for you, man.
He made your team relevant. So, like, it's almost like Julio Jones. Like, he made the Falcons so relevant.
That's what I was thinking of.
Let him go to where he wants to go.
That's who I was trying to think of, not Aaron Rodgers. Julio. I was like, bro, like, some teams, it's kind of a similar thing with Aaron Rodgers where the team is just like, no. Like, what? Like,
and they got nothing out of him retiring, by the way. Like, at least you probably could have gotten good draft picks.
Exactly.
All kinds of stuff.
Oh, my God. A haul for Calvin? Are you kidding me? Easily, like, he was only, was he even 30 yet?
I want to say no.
Yeah, I'm saying you could have got, I mean, at least.
I think he was only 8 years in the league, I want to say. He was only in the league 8 years.
He might have been just coming up on 30, bro. Like, you could have got. He was still going for 2K yards, man. You could have got 2. I don't want to say 2 first-round picks because the receiver market's not the same as the quarterback, but at least 1 first, a couple other later-round picks, and maybe oh my gosh, dude. When I read that, I was like, you're joking. I just thought he didn't want to get hurt.
That's
you know
what
I'm saying? I thought he was trying to avoid like head damage and stuff, kind of like Luke Kuechly and those guys. But like, no, he just didn't want to play for the Lions anymore. That's crazy.
When was this recent?
He said it when Julio got traded. He was like, "That's what I wanted, but I didn't get it, so I just retired." Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, that made me so mad. I was like, dude, because we all sit here. Everybody says, "Man, I wish we got to watch Calvin Johnson some more." And it wasn't even really his choice. But what's interesting to me is like if he would have retired for 1 year, couldn't he have come out of retirement and signed somewhere else? Maybe he just decided that he liked being
At
retired.
this point, he probably liked it. Like he's been doing it for a couple years. Like, well, I got my money. I'm definitely
he's
going into
probably
the Hall
like,
of Fame.
yeah, fuck it. I'm not getting hit no more after this. That was really interesting though. Let me see if I can pull that up.
No, you do
while
that.
we talk about the fucking draft steal of the century possibly for Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I mean, so you guys got Penei Sewell. I mean, I know you guys were already hyped up to get Devonta Smith, but then you get Penei. So it's just like, all right, I can see this team kind of getting its identity a little bit here. Like, all right, so it looks like you're kind of loading up with defense a little bit. I mean, you got rid of all your receivers, so it seems like you're gearing yourself towards a run team. So you got Swift, you're getting your line, Penei Sewell, and it looks like Jared Goff. He already knows how to hand the ball off really well. So that seems like that's what's going to be. It's no longer the Matthew Stafford passing attack anymore. It's going to be Jared Goff handing the ball off to Swift and possibly a better defense. I mean, on the top of my head, I know you guys got rid of I know you guys signed someone from the Patriots not too long ago, and then you got Jeff Okudah, who's supposed to be, the best corner of last year, the draft. So I mean, I see this team kind of getting out of this rebuild mode and starting to build its identity here, but it's just a matter of can you bring it together? Is that head coach the guy, and will this team ever be good again? Like it seems like you have Hall of Famers that come in and out of there, but we never see any like postseason appearances or even competitiveness with the Packers. Like, I mean, I honestly, the Lions haven't been relevant in a very long time. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I mean, we've seen the Bears be more relevant than the Lions, and that's not.
Yeah, they had like one season where they were a threat. They made the playoffs and they lost, I think, in the first round or something like that.
Yeah, and I know the Lions fans are they're. It's almost like being a Browns fan. Like, how long do I have to wait before my team gets good? And obviously, it's coming. It'll come. But is it going to be sooner than later? I don't know. If you keep treating your players like you've been doing, the answer is going to be no. You're not going to see anything happen. Because you've had good players. You've had Barry. You have Calvin. You've had, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was throwing no-lookers before no-lookers were a thing.
Yeah.
He's crazy. Matthew Stafford, he's the most underrated quarterback in the NFL, hands down. And he's going to show it when he's on the Rams next year.
All right, so I have the Calvin stuff here. So this was 12 days ago. And basically he went on a podcast and they were talking about the relationship between the Lions and him. And if they were fixing that relationship and stuff. And he's still mad about how they handled the situation, especially after Julio's situation.
That probably pissed him off.
Yeah, basically, so he says here, I'm not back in the family with the Lions or anything like that. It would be nice if they tried to resolve things, but that's neither here nor there, which means the Lions don't even give a shit about him. And then it says here, Johnson chose to retire in the middle of his record-setting 7-year, $113 million contract extension after suffering several injuries and losing the will to play through them for the franchise anymore. The Lions then forced Johnson to repay some of the bonus money he paid for the duration of the deal, creating a nasty rift.
Wow.
So the combination,
I didn't even know that last part.
Yeah, so the combination of him starting to get hurt a lot and then just like fighting through the injuries to play for, with all due respect, this bum ass team was the main reason for leaving. He said the interview revealed that Johnson would have played elsewhere, meaning the injuries weren't bad enough to force his retirement following the 2015 season. He just didn't want to play for that Lions team under coach Jim Caldwell and the old management that they had.
That tells me a lot.
Yeah, there were rampant rumors that the then Oakland Raiders were the prime player for Johnson's services if he had gotten cut. Man, what that would have done for the Raiders. Holy shit.
Oh, my God.
When Johnson was asked about that possibility, he smiled and said, man, I would have went anywhere else besides the Lions.
Damn.
Anywhere, bro.
Anywhere.
He would have went to a 1-15. He would have went to the Jags.
He would have went to the Patriots, okay.
He said Johnson let the team know he wasn't going to play for the Lions anymore. When he asked them to release or trade him, they refused. He said, "We asked would they release me or let me go to another team. They said no." So he retired.
What year did he retire? Just doesn't say in the
It
article.
was after the 2015 season.
2015. Okay.
He was hurt. He didn't want to fight through the injuries for this team that he didn't like, and that he had a obvious issue with the management and stuff, and he didn't want to play there anymore. Well, he probably still would have wanted to play there if he wasn't getting hurt all the time, but it was the mental strain of fighting through injury on top of also like hating the situation he was in. He just quit football in 2015.
So the one thing that I really took from that you just said was I mean, just how they really approached the entire situation with the money. So like you have franchises like the Indianapolis Colts, for example, how like Andrew Luck retired and they still gave him his money. They were like, you know what, we appreciate what you did for my team. You were great. Thank you for the leadership. Here's your money. You can keep it.
Yeah.
It's cool. Thank you. Then you have Calvin Johnson and the Lions where it's like, no, you give me that money back and then you can get the
Right.
hell out of here.
Come on, bro.
You can't do that to your players that do so much for your franchise. You know, I mean,
Like, do you know why he was hurt? Because he was carrying the franchise on his fucking back for 8 years or whatever. Like him
Yeah.
and Matt Stafford were alone. They had Ndamukong Suh for a couple of years, but all
Yeah.
he was good for was stomping on people's legs
yeah, that
back
was
then.
yeah.
Sue is good now, but back then he was just like the
No, he was a
dirtiest player
dickhead
of all
back then.
time.
Yeah, for sure.
But like,
So
what else did they do to make that team good? They didn't do anything. They were just like, oh, Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson, they'll get it done eventually. We don't have to pay anybody. We don't have to spend money. Like, come on,
yeah.
bro.
So yeah, I mean, Detroit. It's almost like, you know, this team is going to stay bad unless you get a new ownership in there, new GM. It seems like it's from the foundation, you know, like you got to create
Yeah.
that culture. You got to create that atmosphere that makes the players want to come there. And
It's unfortunate that they traded Matt Stafford and weren't able to be in a position to draft a good quarterback right now.
yeah.
Like,
It's just not a
like
good look when players leave and they are literally grinning from ear to ear and they're happier than they've ever been after they leave the Lions. Kenny Galladay, happy as hell. Matthew
yeah.
Stafford, happy as hell. Like everybody's just so happy to leave.
It's
And it's
just
just like,
interesting too. Like we were talking about Jared Goff, and I was saying that he was a throw-in, but maybe they do believe in Jared Goff because listen, I know Penei Sewell was sitting there, and you have to draft him, but like, you know, Justin Fields was there, you know, Mac Jones was there, so they must believe in Jared Goff in some capacity to not
yeah,
go with the quarterback because that's what I would have done. I would have been like, bro, we're losing Matt Stafford.
quarterback.
Yeah, because you can still have Jared Goff for this year, but like, I don't know. I mean, like I said, Penei Sewell is a blessing. Like, that's just amazing that he was available at 8.
Yeah, true.
But if he wasn't there, they still wouldn't have picked a quarterback, and that's what's surprising to me.
It's almost like they might be in the Jets shoes. Like they got Mekhi Becton because that was like a good pick at that point in time, and then maybe go quarterback
Yeah.
next year. I don't know.
Good.
But yeah, that's
There's no Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields next year, Lions.
yeah.
I don't know any of the quarterbacks next year. I've known about Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields for like 4 years. I don't know anybody next year except for maybe Tua's brother.
The only quarterback that I know at all that's not even touched college yet is Archie Manning.
Oh, I'm excited for him. I want the Saints to suck when he's coming up, bro.
So it's just like, yeah,
I want the
whenever
Saints to be
I'll
bad, be
he's
terrible.
not even in college yet, I don't think.
Yeah, he's still in high school, bro. But when time is time, you know,
We're gonna be like
cut
4
your
years
losses,
old, bro.
bro.
Like, yay, Archie! Oh
no,
god.
it's
All
like
right.
5 years. It's like 4 or 5 years from now. It's not too bad.
Okay. Be like mid-30s. God rolled. Anyway. So yeah, guys, that's the Lions, that's the division. I kind of wanted to go deeper into the Bears, but it's just like there's nothing else to say. Like, you know, what are you gonna do? Fields got to do something. You got to step up, I guess. You know, the only thing that I want to say about the Bears that I didn't do earlier is just like there's a lot of pressure on that young man right now. Like people are painting murals in Chicago, praying that he's going to turn this team around, and it's just like, bro, like you got a team that's on
When
fire
will
right
they
now. Like
learn?
you're stepped into a fire to hopefully build that team around. So I just wanted to say, like, Fields, good luck. You have a lot of
Bears
pressure on your
fans,
shoulders. Don't let it crumble you.
when will they learn, bro? When will the Bears fans learn to just like be cautiously optimistic, man? They just put all their faith into
Into
these
whatever.
decisions, bro. And it's like
Mitch Trubisky, he's the guy.
I'm saying, like Justin Fields is definitely a
He's
better,
better.
yes, but still, until I mean, here's a quiz. When was the last time the Bears had a good quarterback? Are we considering
Ooh.
Jay Cutler to be
Jay
good?
Cutler, that's like the first name.
Yeah, and is that's the benchmark that we're saying is good for the Bears is Jay Cutler?
Jay Cutler.
Like Jay Cutler is not good, but that's good for the Bears. That's sad.
Yep.
Like that's really not good at
I'm
all.
really trying to dig deep here and try to think here.
I can't. I mean, you got Rex Grossman.
I started
who was
watching
there.
football in probably like mid 2000s.
I think Rex Grossman was the first one, and then went to Jay Cutler. I think that was it. And then it's oh my gosh,
So yeah, I mean,
been a long
Chicago,
time. If
Fields, you got your hands full.
If Jay Cutler is your benchmark, then you just now drafted the best quarterback you've had of all time.
Ever. So
Let's be
no,
honest.
no pressure.
No pressure, bro. Could have had
All
Mahomes
right.
though.
Yeah. You just had to sneak that in there, bro.
I had to, bro. Fucking bum ass drafting. Mitch Trubisky, Jesus Christ.
We're gonna have some comments in the section after this one. Yeah, guys. So that is the NFC North. Hopefully, we did every team justice. I'm sure you guys probably hated most of what we said. Aaron Rodgers is leaving.
Man, there's a lot of
Bears is on
negativity
fire.
today.
Vikings, they're trash.
Yeah, that
Kirk
was our
Cousins
most. This is our most negative episode. That was a lot of just.
Yeah.
I
Usually
apologize.
we're pretty
We really
optimistic
just,
and we give every team like above 500 records. And
We
but
just
this
shit on all
division, we
you
just took a
guys.
giant shit. And
Yeah, my bad.
it's good content though, because like you can't sit there and at home and watch this video and be like, that's not true, because it is. We're talking facts.
Yeah.
We don't buy. This is the most unbiased division because my team's not in here. Spitz's
Yeah.
team not in here. We're not biased. We're just calling it like we see it.
I'm not
And
even
that's just
biased
all
for
it
my
is.
own team, bro.
Yeah, I try
I
not to
might
be either.
I might be the most naturally unbiased person to exist ever. Like I'm
That's
so
why
like
we have a podcast, bro.
yeah. That's literally dead ass. That's literally why we started the podcast, because I did a podcast stream by myself after the Saints lost, and the amount of unbiasedness that I was exuding, I was like, you know what, bro?
Yeah.
Let me get my boy Jeff, and let's fucking do this shit. Because the response
Yes,
I was
sir.
getting for not being biased, I was like, okay, wait a minute. So like if we're not biased, that's what people like. People like not biasedness.
Yeah.
So subscribe.
That's why we're here, boys. So yeah, I mean that's going to be the division. I know it was kind of a shorter episode tonight, but we'll probably make it to an hour. I mean, if you guys are listening to the very last second. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be the division. I think. What can we give them a little preview of what we're doing next week?
We can. I believe that it's going to be. It's the AFC West next week.
Ooh,
So we got
okay.
we got
That's
the
almost like the
Chiefs.
same situation. You have one team dominating the entire division,
That's true, but at least the
and
Chargers
then
are coming.
Chargers are going to come up. Broncos could definitely be on the come up with Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna save it for next week. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. Just wanted to appreciate you guys for stopping by, watching it. Make sure you hit that like button. Sub if you haven't already, guys. I like I said at the very beginning, like 70% of you guys are watching it, so you like the content. You just haven't hit the sub button yet. So do us a favor, hit that sub button. We would really appreciate it. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Anything else?
No, that's all, man. Fuck you, Lions, and we'll catch y'all next week.
That would be like the least. Why? Shouldn't it be like fuck you Vikings because of the sideline touchdown digs?
Nah, because that was the Saints' fault. The Lions
Okay,
made us
got it.
miss out on Calvin Johnson for 5 more years, so they can kiss my ass.
Got it. I just had to
Not
clear
that,
that up before we
I
go.
know that those people are gone. Okay, that management staff is gone, but I still don't forgive them. After I heard that article, bro, get out of here.
Oh boy. All right. See you guys. Thank you guys for watching.
Peace
And
out.
as always, until next time, peace out, guys.
Peace.